expectation descends on Dallas for the preseason finale. Everyone on the field has a chip on their shoulders. This is the last dress rehearsal.
This is Brandon Bolden. Bulldozing his way through. Touchdown Raiders. That's an impressive first drive. He has some time. Throws it to nobody, and it's intercepted. This could be a walk. Isaiah Cole racing for a pick six.
And the autumn wind is upon us. Come out of Dallas looking like a star and officially join the Final 53.
That's the assignment for all 32 teams. Get from 90 down to 53 by Tuesday. And after a very successful camp with a couple of impressive preseason wins, the Silver and Black decisions to make at multiple positions. And some last impressions set for tonight here in Dallas. As we welcome you inside AT&T Stadium for the final preseason game of the 2023 campaign. The Raiders taking on the Cowboys. Hey folks, how are you? Jason Horowitz, 2002 League MVP Rich Gannon, 4-time Super Bowl champ Matt Millen. Happy to have you with us one last week here in the preseason. Big news today. Josh Jacobs is signed. Going to rejoin the team tomorrow and be ready to go week one against Denver. Much more on that throughout the course of the night. But as we talked about in the open, Rich, there's a lot of decisions to make on this team. It's a deeper roster on the offensive side with veterans at wide receiver too.
I agree with you. I think this roster is so much better than it was a season ago at this time. And I think there's excellent competition really at the bottom end of the roster on some key positions offensively. I think you look at the offensive line, and as you mentioned at wide receiver, I think the Raiders have a pretty good sense of who their top 5 receivers are. You've got 4 veteran receivers that are really fighting for that last roster spot. I think Philip Dorsett, he came over from Houston in free agency. He's got great straight line speed. He's had a very productive training camp so far. I think Cam Sims, you love his size. He's a 6'5" receiver that can go get the football. Kristen Wilkerson, it was busy last week. A lot of opportunities, a lot of touches, and of course, Keelan Cole, Raider fans know about him and his versatility. So I think you've got a lot of receivers that can do different things. I think ultimately what it boils down to is which of these 4 players can contribute on special teams and also play multiple positions in the offensive scheme. Can you go inside and play the slot? Can you go outside and play the flanker or the weak side position, the X receiver? So really a lot of tough decisions to make here heading into what ultimately will be cut down day on Tuesday.
And a wide range there too. Philip Dorsett, former first-round pick, to undrafted free agents along that list as well. Speaking of first-round picks, Matt, we're going to see the Raiders 2023 first-round pick tonight. Tyree Wilson came off the NFI list the week leading up to the Rams, didn't play. He is going to suit up and play tonight.
Yeah, so it's important how you watch him play today. You have to keep in mind he's had a handful of reps in practice. He's coming off the foot injury, but what you want to see, first of all, is getting off the football. He's got to have that good first step, which he does have. Then you like to see him engage the guy and see if he probably won't get a lot of time, but with the little bit of time that he does get, you want to see him being able to test that and hopefully make some plays. Yeah. On the other side of the football, the other side of that defensive side is Max Crosby. So Max Crosby has taken Tyree Wilson and turned him into his project. And if he can somehow in his lab turn him into another clone of Max, we're going to be all right. And Max Crosby has had a great preseason. He's coming off an all-pro year. He's the guy that you want him to be mimicking in Max Crosby.
Well, and he, in his own right, at the time, was a 4th-round pick.
Right.
It's a 4th-round pick this year that certainly has made a lot of noise in the preseason, and it's time to get to know Aiden O'Connell.
The Las Vegas Raiders select Aiden O'Connell, quarterback, Purdue.
Heading into the draft was, definitely a mixture of feelings, excitement, definitely anxious as well. It's just so much is up in the air. You hear different things, and you don't know what's true and what's not. And so I just tried to enjoy it as much as possible. And it's also nerve-wracking knowing you could be anywhere in the country. I'm from the Midwest, and now I'm out here in Las Vegas. And so it's a big change, and it happens pretty suddenly. But it's a super cool experience, something I'll remember, for the rest of my life. I think patience is the biggest thing I learned at Purdue. I think, I had to work my way up the depth chart pretty slowly. Didn't play my first 2 years, and so just kind of had to wait and be behind the scenes and watch and get mental reps from the other guys that were in there. And so have that translate to here as Brian and Jimmy, just trying to get mental reps from them as they're out there and just trying to learn as much as I can. Definitely learned a lot from both those guys. I think 25 combined years in the league is pretty cool. And so just hearing them talk about the game, hearing them obviously X and O's talk about what we're doing, but just in general, their knowledge of football, just giving me tips and pointers and challenging me and, stuff they don't need to do, but they're doing just to try to help me. So I appreciate those guys a lot.
Low snap for O'Connell looking towards the end zone.
Nice throw.
He drilled it between a pair of defenders, stuck it right in there, and it's first and goal. Pocket holds to the end zone. What a catch! And he kept his feet down.
Obviously, the preseason is different than the regular season, and so I think, I just look forward to, trying to stack days, take momentum from these wins, and I think it's helped us throughout the facility to work harder and to understand that we can win games, but also it's going to take a lot of work and we have a long way to go. And so I think it's the combination of those things of, trying to continue to work hard and put your best foot forward.
Aiden O'Connell certainly has had a lot of conversation in this preseason. He has played so well, Rich, and he's handled all of it in stride as they get ready, and we'll get to start tonight again.
Yeah, you look at how productive he has been so far in the preseason. It's incredible. You look at the numbers, and he's been as effective as any quarterback. 36 quarterbacks have thrown at least 25 passes this season. No one has a higher passer rating than rookie Aiden O'Connell.
The interesting thing with him is he knows he has to learn a lot more. I had a chance to speak with him this afternoon. That's the first thing he said. He said, man, there's a lot to learn up here. And yes, there is.
He's part of that draft class for Josh McDaniels, who along with Dave Ziegler, really this is their first full draft class. Yes, they made the picks last year, but with the trade for Devontae Adams, didn't have a first or second round pick. So this is really the first full class, and at least here in the preseason, they've showed out. Josh McDaniels and company, they have not lost a preseason game since coming to Las Vegas. The Raiders have the NFL's longest streak now. 6 consecutive preseason wins. That with the Ravens losing to the Commanders on Monday night. What was it? They had 2015?
Do you hear that in the background? 23 straight. Do you hear that? Listen real close so you can hear it. It said, whoop-de-doo.
One to toss, deferred to the second half, which will put the defense out on the field and the opportunity for something, Matt, that will be whoop-de-doo, and that is the chance to see this defense, who's played really well, try and get after Will Greer, former third-round pick of the Panthers, 28 years old, and as we were talking before the game, Rich, a guy that his life just changed because they traded for Trey Lance yesterday.
It's amazing how quickly things change in this business. 24 hours ago, he probably felt like he was going to be the third quarterback. Now with Trey Lance, he knows that this will be his last opportunity to play in a Cowboy uniform, certainly this season. And, he's got to play well. He's going to get a lot of opportunities tonight to show 31 other teams what he's capable of doing.
Tyree Wilson not on the field to open this ball game, and it's a run play to Hunter Lipke, rookie running back from North Dakota State, a 3-time all-conference player. And the Raiders through the first 2 games have done very well stopping the run, both against San Francisco and then last week against the Rams. Curtis Bolton, Drake Thomas, the linebackers have really shown up very well in their time on the field.
Yeah, Bolton just right there opening this up with a tackle right off the start. He's got good eyes. He believes his eyes. That's rare for a younger player, although he's not that young.
Been around the league, 28 years old. Again, it's a run to Lipke, and again, nowhere to go. That time it's Jaquan Johnson, the safety coming up in his 5th year out of Miami, going low to make the stop.
But what you're trying to see right here is, do you maintain discipline of scheme? That's a big deal. Okay, so you don't want guys running around blocks. Everybody's got to be in their gap. Everybody's got to control things. And right now, they're doing that, set up this 3rd and long.
And there's battles on this side of the ball, too. We talked about the receivers in the open, but corners, defensive line, linebacker maybe opportunity. They show blitz, and Greer gets it away. Nice grab on the sideline.
Nice throw.
Great throw as well. Jalen Brooks, the rookie out of South Carolina, juggled it and brought it in bounds for a first down.
That was nice tight coverage as well. I mean, he's right on top of this. You're going to watch it. Look, nice engagement. Oh, the ball was the only place it could have been. That's just a good football play.
David Long in coverage. Coming over from the Rams last week, made his silver and black debut. Went for 11 yards for Will Grier. Throws it into the flat. That is a wide open receiver, and Dontario Drummond takes it across midfield near the Raiders' 45-yard line. 13 yards on the quick pass to the first-year pro out of Ole Miss.
Yeah, this is a mistake by Polamalu. You're gonna watch the angle. You want to be inside out. You don't want to be from the top down. See, he's way too high on his angle. He's got to understand he's a defender to the outside and somebody coming behind him. So you've got to take that angle inside, force him one way, and he wouldn't have gotten that miss.
They had the 50-yard interception return for a touchdown. Again, it's on the inside to Lipke. Finds Neil Farrell Jr. and his 325-pound frame on top of him.
You know, what I think is interesting is tackling early in the season. I think all defensive coordinators worry about it. You only have 16 padded practices in training camp. You almost never take a player to the ground in practice. We've got reduced preseason games. You know, it's possible for a defensive player, Matt, to go through the whole month of August and only have 4 or 5 opportunities for a tackle.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't like that about the league anymore. There's not enough reps to teach guys.
Grier taking a shot. And he throws it out of bounds. Amik Robertson was step for step with Jalen Brooks down the sideline.
Robertson played that perfectly. That's what you're supposed to do as a defender, right? You're going to read the thing. You're going to keep your back to him and then get on top of it. He knows he's going to take it down the field. And so you just stay on top of that thing and it'll go nowhere. If it's overthrown or underthrown a little bit, you have a pick.
Now, Matt, we still haven't seen Tyree Wilson here on this opening drive for the defense. We have, though, seen third-round pick defensive tackle Byron Young. Did start the game against the Niners 2 weeks ago, did not play last week. And he has been on the field as part of this revamped defensive line as they went on that side of the ball heavy in the draft. On 3rd and 7. Trying to get pressure. Grier still stays alive. Eyes downfield, fires, and it's caught. He kept that alive and found Drummond for a Dallas first down.
He panicked at first, Rich, in the pocket. Didn't see what he wanted to see, right? And then he let his feet do the work. You're going to watch what he was looking at was guys covered. He had nowhere to go with the football. They went man and they matched it up. But he does a nice job of coming back here and finding a receiver.
That just took too long for the secondary. I mean, you got to do a better job keeping the quarterback in the pocket where he belongs.
Here rolls out the safe pass to Drummond, and there's Duke Shelley right in his face. Did not bite on the play action. They take it down to the 24.
You know, this Will Grier is not some rookie quarterback, as you mentioned, Jason. He's a 5th-year player out of West Virginia, originally a 3rd-round pick. And more of a pocket passer, kind of a timing and rhythm thrower. Doesn't to make a ton of plays outside the pocket, but already tonight we've seen him make a couple of plays off the scramble.
Well, now he's looking at Tyree Wilson, the Raiders' first-round pick, 7th overall. This is first play here in the preseason.
Let's see if they don't run right at him.
He tossed it right that direction. Raiders trying to string it out, but they broke it free. And Malik Davis into the secondary with a Dallas first down. Marked out of bounds at the 12 on an 11-yard run.
So the first thing you got to know as a rookie is you have to understand where you're at, right? Now you have people lined up outside of you for a reason. And so you have to play to that. And so you're anticipating somebody blocking, coming back your way. It's why I said what I said. He'll pick it up as he goes, or he'll get tired of getting blocked.
You got to get off blocks.
Now he's at the top of that side. He switched. He was on the right before, now on the left. Davis still the tailback, and a flag flies. We're going to get a false start.
False start. Offense, number 75. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Josh Ball, 3rd-year pro out of Marshall.
You know, the thing I liked about Tyree Wilson coming out was not just his length and power, but he played all over that Texas Tech defensive front. You know, he could play inside, he could play on both sides. Very comfortable rushing from the right side, the left side. Excellent quickness, Matt, as you talked about in the open off the ball. The long arms that you love at that position. I think the ability to punch and separate versus very good tackles, and I'm anxious to see this kid play.
Where to throw on 1st and 15, and there's Wilson getting to the quarterback.
They went from power. He went from speed to power off the top, which was a nice move. Came back inside, thought he had a sack.
Was a flag that flew in the secondary.
He's going to realize, Matt, these quarterbacks are tougher to get down.
While the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact on the defense, number 23. Half the distance of the goal and an automatic first down.
And that's happened now a couple different times on this drive.
Now here he's got to go speed to power, and he wins, right? Nice job. One thing, he's got to keep his eyes open because he ran right past Will Greer. It doesn't matter if you beat the tackle. It matters if you make the tackle.
It did look good, though, beating the tackle.
It did. I'll give him that.
He's got some, like you said, he's got some power. He's got some speed. Look at those arms.
Yeah, he can bend. That's a big deal. Tall guy who can bend. Those are rare guys.
6'6", 275, but with the penalty, first and goal for the Cowboys. Wilson's giving chase again. Greer going to take off and score a Cowboys touchdown. Will Greer executed an 11-play opening drive, and he led the Cowboys down the field.
Really important. You just watch. He's going to take a flat angle. He's got contained. He's got to make sure that he sets the edge. You watch his eyes. He's down. He gets pushed inside, and the quarterback has plenty of time now to get out of the edge of the defense.
So the rule always, Rich, stay deep as the deepest guy. You always stay as deep as the deepest. He tried to take a shortcut inside. Didn't work.
Brandon Aubrey, the former MLS defensive player, is now on with the Cowboys. But Will Greer did it with his legs on the opening drive. Now it's the Raiders' turn.
Handoff this to Jacobs. First to the 10. Cuts the field 5. Drives forward. He's in. Touchdown, Josh Jacobs. Touchdown, Raiders.
Last year's NFL rushing leader got game day started early today by signing on the dotted line and rejoining the Raiders. Josh McDaniels and company getting that news here in Dallas and expecting Josh Jacobs to rejoin the team. They fly back home. Get ready for week 1 in Denver. Jason HOROWITZ, Matt Millen, Rich Gannon, happy to have you back with us inside AT&T Stadium. And it's really been the offseason storyline all year. And now that story comes to a close as he is signed and ready to go.
And I like the fact that it gets done now. He's got 15 days before the opener, and I just think that's enough time for him to get in and get plenty of reps. But you're talking about a guy that was a workhorse a season ago. Led the league in rushing yards, over 1,600. Finished as the only player in the league last season with more than 2,000 scrimmage yards. Led the league in touches last season with 393. He was a beast, and it's good to have him back in a Raider uniform.
Absolutely, and the 2 weeks is a big deal. No, he's got to get in some football shape. I know he's probably in great shape for running and stuff, but you got to get knocked around a little bit, and you got to get that football shape going.
Aiden O'Connell getting the start tonight, second time here in the preseason, and he hands off to Zamir White, who, take us through that now for Zamir White, because he has been the guy, Rich, knowing that Josh Jacobs may come back, and maybe even expecting him to come back, but he's got the #1 reps all throughout training camp.
Yeah, I think he's showed this coaching staff that he can play and play at a high level and do a number of things well in the system. He can run the football. I think he catches the ball well out in the backfield. And I think you can never have enough good backs. And look, I doubt Josh Jacobs is going to have, as many carries that he did last year. I just think that, it may look a little different this year.
O'Connell dumps it underneath. Fellow rookie Michael Mayer driving the feet forward, and Calvin Joseph holding on for dear life, and he got close to the first down.
Going to be a little short, but that's a great effort by Mayer, the Notre Dame tight end, and he's just a rookie. He's figuring things out. He got schooled in the blocking department. He's got to get better at blocking on the line of scrimmage, and I think he has.
Boy, I love his route running ability. I think he's got a good feel for the types of coverages, whether it's man or zone. He's a big target for the quarterback.
Opportunity here, and Zamir White gobbled up in the backfield. Devin Harper, second year out of Oklahoma State, drove through the left side of that offensive line, and they can't get it on third down.
Yeah, what they did is they pinched everything. Watch that. Everybody's going to pinch inside. And so the outside defender is able to come off a short corner. And that was the reason why he was able to get in there in the backfield.
That was the first negative run that the Raiders have had this preseason. Something that Josh McDaniels talked about. They've been pleased with their ability to handle the front with their offensive line and the tight ends.
Jalen Cropper back deep to receive the punt here from A.J. Cole. He's got a lot of room to work with. That has not been the case most of this preseason. And a fair catch called for at the 20-yard line after a punt of 47 and no return. Final preseason game, last tune-up for the Silver and Black before it all gets going for real in Denver. Made this season by that man, Daniel Carlson. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Visit CreditOneBankTravel.com. Daniel Carlson, one of the best kickers in the NFL. Mr. Automatic had that streak of 41 consecutive field goals come to an end last year in Denver.
The Raiders have always had a good kicking game. Always. As long as I can remember back to Blanda.
And what a luxury. There's some teams out there still trying to figure out who the kicker is going to be in that opening day. It's
exactly.
Not a good situation to be in.
Lipke gets the handoff again, a couple of yards running right towards Tyree Wilson, who made the tackle.
Nice job by Wilson. Did a good job of engaging and then disengaging, getting to the football. But he has not had a lot of practice, Rich, like we talked
about. That's what I was saying, man. He just needs reps. He needs to see it, right? You talk a lot about seeing it with your eyes and just reacting to the speed of the game. You know, why is a player lined up outside? He's probably going to crack you in a running game. Just getting a good feel for playing in space.
With throw by Greer, it's caught by the rookie tight end, Luke Schoonmaker. Second-round pick out of Michigan. Cowboys feel confident about what they have on the offense pretty much at every position, but the tight end here for an organization that was settled in that spot with Jason Witten for so long, that's a different story this year. They're trying to find that guy.
They'll find him. And if it's a young guy, they'll bring him along. This is a good coaching staff.
Mike McCarthy in his fourth year here with the Cowboys. But this year's taking over play calling duties. Different story tonight, though. Where is Dak Prescott making the calls? Greer fitted in nicely between Masterson and Robertson and Dennis Houston. First year out of Western Illinois, moves the change for the Cowboys again.
Yeah, watch this replay, and I want you to watch Masterson, how close he is, and he doesn't know it. He just outreached it. Just outside his reach, I should say. Nice read by him, though.
First down handoff again to Lipke. Burst it through into the secondary. Jaquan Johnson lowering the shoulder. But it was a play like that, Matt, last year for Masterson. Remember in the preseason against the Patriots, he had an interception and made the roster as an undrafted free agent.
Now here he is getting off the block, making the play. The problem is that play was 8 yards downfield. You don't want to see that. So one of the things that I've talked about is like these backers, you really got to step up. You can't let your D-line just be absorbing all the blocks. You got to go up and attack things.
It's a heavy dose of Lipke, and he's got the first down again.
It's not like this is Emmitt Smith running behind that offensive line.
That's the Emmitt Smith of the North Dakota State Bison National Championship teams the last few years.
Yeah, Lipke's a tough kid. I mean, he's one of those kids. If he makes his team, it's going to be because of his special teams. He's got that look about him.
Team playing starters tonight. Cowboys haven't really played starters most of this preseason. Greer, he fed that in beautifully right before Polamalu got his hand in there. That's another Michigan tight end, Sean McEwen.
Watch the coverage, giving the inside break on it. Well done. That's not bad. You know, you're going to win some, lose some right there. That's pretty good coverage.
This is good work for the Raiders defense. You've got a veteran quarterback that's really playing for his future and an opportunity maybe with another team. The Cowboys have already told him they're not going to keep him, but he's a guy that's played some football. He's got a couple starts under his belt going back to his rookie year in Carolina, and this is a guy that gets the ball in his hands pretty quick.
Yeah, you're going to watch Masterson. He's right up here. Yeah, keep your eyes on him. See, he undercuts that. The lineman came out for him to kind of cut him off. He saw it, stopped in the hole, cut it back underneath, made a nice stick right there in the hole.
He's got 3 tackles here in the opening quarter. Greer going to the air again. Deep shot to the end zone. Wide open receiver, and he just overthrew him. He had Tyron Johnson, who last year was with the Raiders during the preseason. They know all about his speed, and they just missed him.
So when you shorten the field, the only way to use your speed is to run across the field, which is exactly what they did with him.
Yeah, you got to make that throw. He's got him beat to the corner, and the quarterback just
coming from
throws
left to right.
Yeah, look, you got to give a chance to catch this ball.
So instead, it's 3rd and 10, and the Raiders, so far in this game, unable to get off the field on 3rd down. That had not been the case the last 2 weeks. They come with pressure. Greer got it away. Far sideline, and it's incomplete. Simi Fehoko, rookie wide receiver. Should be 30-year wide receiver out of Stanford.
Shelley right there, step for step on him, staying on top, right where he needed to be. That ball had to be thrown perfect if it was going to be a completion. Watch it, get on his hip. Get on his hip, watch. He looks, you look. Ball was behind him. Nice coverage.
So they're going to try a 59-yard field goal with Brandon Aubrey. 28-year-old, played soccer at Notre Dame. Line drive kick is no good. Well, you talked about the luxury the Raiders have for the special teams. They don't have to worry about who's going to be punting or kicking. They also had a pretty good defense in this preseason. Came up with a stop there. Spotlight has certainly been on Aiden O'Connell the first couple of weeks as he has played so well in preseason. A little bit high to Wilkerson, and he's got Butler right on him as he brought it down. That'll go for 6. It'll bring him 3rd and down at about 3 or 4.
Nice ball, right where it should be. Got to throw it a little bit to the backside because watch the defender breaking to the top. He was going to try to cut back underneath, but it's going to set up this 3rd and about 4.
This gets to the highlight as we'll focus on this all throughout the course of the night.
Looks like they're going to go man here. Let's see who can win.
Cole and Wilkerson all there to the bottom of your screen. Flag flies. And O'Connell over the head of Tucker.
Offsides on the defense, looks like. That'll give him the first.
Defense number 1 lined up in the neutral zone. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Joseph, 3rd-year pro, began his career at LSU before transferring to Kentucky. So new life here for Aiden O'Connell.
Protection was pretty good. He just overthrew that one, Rich.
Yeah, I've really been impressed, Matt, though, with his ability to play fast. You know, as a rookie in this system, I think he's been very decisive and does a great job with his eyes. His anticipation's been very good, his accuracy as well.
Amir White picks his way down to the 37-yard line. We approach 2.5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter.
Really enjoyed the conversation we had earlier today with Josh McDaniels and offensive coordinator Mick Lombardi, and both of them continue to sing the praises of this young quarterback taken in the 4th round out of Purdue. And, you know, Mick Lombardi said he's been so impressed with his command. I think his confidence has gotten better. And keep in mind, this is a quarterback that took a ton of reps in the spring. Jimmy Garoppolo was still rehabbing, and with Brian Hoyer, a 15-year vet, he didn't need the work. So Aiden O'Connell really benefited from that work in the spring.
Trying for Wilkerson. It's in and out of his hands. Incomplete.
Nice throw. Good accuracy. Good patience. Waited for him to come open.
I don't know what more you could do. I mean, as you said, Matt, he waited for him to clear the crosser, the plug defender, and he does a nice job fitting this one in.
Oh, yeah.
It took a perfect throw. Just watch the extra hits, the patience, and watch where this ball lands. I mean, you know, it's a tough, pretty good coverage, but, man, I don't know what more the quarterback could do.
Good protection, too. Offensive lineman trying to make this roster. On 3rd and 7, Sincere McCormick not going to get to the 30, so it'll bring up 4th down and about 3.
Go for it.
And they're going to leave the offense on the field.
Good.
That's why they ran it on 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
Knew it was 4-down territory.
By the way, that is Mick Lombardi. We're used to seeing Josh McDaniels calling the plays, and last year Mick Lombardi got the opportunity in preseason to do some of this, and Josh McDaniels had told us, hey, if something happens with COVID or I'm not going to be here, we need to have someone with experience. Tonight it's Mick Lombardi making his 4th and 4 call. And Whistle stopped this ahead of time, and the Raiders taking a timeout here to try and think about 4th and 4 again.
Interesting. They lined up in a man and they went to a zone.
Yeah, and I think what happened was Josh and Mick Lombardi saw it and used the timeout. What happens in that situation is coach is going to tell him, hey, it's 4-down territory. You got 2 shots to get it here. That's how you communicate that to the offensive coordinator.
We'll see what the 4th down play is on the other side. Mick Lombardi has spent time with Josh McDaniels before, the offensive coordinator for the Raiders for his 2nd season. Getting the opportunity to have the headset making the play calls tonight, and he's got this chance at a 4th and 4.
I remember Mick Lombardi and his brother Matt, who's offensive assistant and working with the wide receivers, coming out to practice on Saturdays with their dad, Mike Lombardi.
Who's worked here for years.
Yeah, so...
And who's going to watch this and critique it and send it to him?
Absolutely.
Connell with a quick throw,
nice.
And that's delivered right to Wilkerson with the strong hands to pull it in for a 1st down.
Yeah, that's good coverage on the guys right on top of that. But watch the eyes of Aiden O'Connell. Watch what he's got. He comes right to him right away. That gives the defensive back a clue and keeps that coverage even tighter. See, he didn't look anything off. He had man. He knew what he was going to get, so he made that throw nice and quick. Very accurate, Rich.
Put it right on his body, Matt. Love to see it. Where only he could catch it. Screen.
Zamir White and tripped up by Jabril Cox before he can get ahead of steam.
That's a good call right there. You know, we were sitting there this afternoon after our discussions with the head coach, and Mick walked in and he goes, yeah, this is the guy who's got the calls tonight. So it's on him.
Yeah, if something goes wrong, you know who to blame.
Maybe the final play of the 1st quarter. It's an empty set for O'Connell on 2nd and 5. And it's a false start.
This is something that they've avoided most of the preseason.
Offense, number 71. That's a 5-yard penalty.
Rich, to your point, the first 6 quarters of the preseason, the Raiders had 3 penalties.
And I think that's something that's impressive when you have a lot of young players playing, a rookie quarterback playing for the first time. As Josh told us earlier today, the operation has been solid. I mean, getting plays in and out, players in and out, substitutions, the communication's been terrific. I think the effort's been outstanding. Not a lot of pre-snap penalties. They're playing smart, taking care of the football. A lot of good reps so far in the preseason for this Raider offense.
Zamir White again ahead of steam, and he stood up at the 20.
That's going to come back with a flag. He's on that left side.
Holding. Offense number 61. It's a 10-yard penalty.
Well, and that's Jordan Meredith and a whole bunch of guys on this offensive line fighting to maybe be one of those last 1 or 2 offensive linemen who make the final 53. They've given good protection, but it's starting to fall apart here on the end of this drive.
It wasn't really so much of a hold. Runner was behind by rule, so the runner was beyond him by then.
So it'll take us to the end of the 1st quarter. Raiders, now they're marching backwards, and now they'll march to the other side with a 2nd and long coming up. Down 7-0 for Aiden O'Connell and company here in the final preseason game. You're watching Raiders football presented by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Season, the Las Vegas Raiders, in partnership with Intermountain Health, will proudly recognize local youth football players who have made an impact on their community. Stay tuned for September 24th. We'll recognize our first Intermountain Health player of the week. First home game against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football after a pair of road trips to Denver and then Buffalo. And they'll take the road trip to LA to take on the Chargers. So final 2 preseason games on the road. First 2 regular season games on the road. About 6 weeks between that San Francisco 49ers preseason game and that opener against Pittsburgh. Start of the second quarter, and Aiden O'Connell after a couple of penalties. The Raiders facing a 2nd and 20, down 7-0. Good protection again. Taking a shot too high.
First time that he was high, Rich. First time he missed it. Well, and he had to because he had that middle defender dropping down inside. So the ball had to go up high.
You're right, Matt. He had to fit it in over Harper, 50, the linebacker. That's why he sails it high. Got to be smart here on 3rd and 20. This is the red zone fringe. Any completion here will almost automatically assure you a very good opportunity for a field goal. Just can't have a negative play here, a sack or a turnover.
Here would be a 53-yarder.
Good play.
O'Connell sits it down.
Yeah, good, nice. Smart play.
Then again, it's Wilkerson. O'Connell has thrown the ball 8 times. 5 of those so far in the first half have gone to Christian Wilkerson.
He's been impressive. I like the way he runs routes. Does a nice job transitioning at the top of the step, coming back to the quarterback, catches the ball well away from his body. Good hands.
Rich, to follow up on what you said about making a good decision, you see what the Cowboys did. They put 3 deep on top of everybody and then came and dropped to the zone underneath. It was the right thing to do to throw underneath that zone and pick up the extra yards.
So a 44-yard field goal attempt for Daniel Carlson, who has hit all 4 of his tries here in the preseason. Make it 5 of his field goal attempts here in the preseason. And the Raiders are on the board here early in the second quarter, trailing the Cowboys 7-3. Well, just a couple of days ago, Raiders legend Art Powell was named as senior finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. One of 3 finalists who will be up for induction when they go for discussion coming up here in just a few months. Art Powell, when he retired before the rules changed, #1 in yards receiving per game, and even still to this day, he's still 8th all-time in yards receiving per game.
When I first got here and they talked about the receiving corps, Art Powell's name was all you heard. Talk about big plays, consistency, guy who is just a stud all the way around. And anytime you watch any of those highlights, that's exactly what you see.
And he was so good after the catch. 81 touchdowns. He's one of those players, Matt, that could play today.
Oh, yeah.
His game certainly translates. You talk about run after the catch ability.
He's a big guy.
He's terrific.
Of course, you saw Hall of Fame coach Tom Flores throwing a football to him there.
Not only great on the field, Art Powell also constant voice fighting against segregation. Very vocal against that there in the 60s. Powell passed away in 2015, one of those 3 finalists.
Steve McMichael of the Chicago Bears, Randy Gradishar, Denver Broncos. All worthy candidates.
Randy Gradishar was linebacker for the Denver Broncos. He was a guy that I have no idea how he would get to. He always was at the football. He could run through the middle of 5 guys. I'd get hit 17 times.
Speaking of guys who've always found the football, here in the preseason, Drake Thomas has been that guy, and he's on the field right now. That tackle, though, by Polamalu, though Drake Thomas was heading down the field.
Polamalu read that right from the start. And he saw the delay with the tight end, and then he's coming inside out, which is the right angle. He learned from that first time.
He's had a great camp. Polamalu, the 2nd-year pro from USC. Played in 11 games last year to the final 9. Back to the air for Greer. Robertson is right on the hip of Fehoko. It'll be 3rd down and short. Will Greer's looked good tonight. 9 of 12 for the Cowboys.
I'll tell you what else has looked good, Rich. This secondary is, there's nobody wide open.
Yeah, I'm just convinced that, Matt, we've seen a lot of young players play in the preseason, but I'm just convinced this defense overall is going to be so much better in year 2.
I agree.
Year 2 in the system, they spent a great deal of time in the offseason. He's going to be short, I think.
That's going to be close.
It was Neston Jade Silvera who got his hands in there, and he's the one throwing up the fist. It is 4th down.
Yeah, they gave him the left foot. Not the right. Give him the right foot. It's a first down. Left foot, no first down.
Look at all the black jerseys. Good gang tackling.
Good to see.
They're going to go for it here.
Well, remember, it was a touchback to start this drive, so they need the ball to touch the 35-yard line to have a first down.
About half a yard to go.
Give it to Lipke, and he does have the first down.
Yeah, and then it doesn't even sound, it sounds right. Like, give it to Lipke. Lipke's the guy.
Does sound like if you're watching NFL films from the 50s or 60s.
And at 3rd and 1, they went with the Lipke. As they should.
But just getting back to the big picture defense. I said year 2 in the system. I think there's going to be a little bit less volume. I think Patrick Graham learned a little bit last year about playing fast, letting these guys go out and cut it loose and attack. I think they're going to play more of an attacking style defensively.
And Lipke picked his way through for 9. Rich Smith, the rookie safety, coming up to make the stop.
And to finish that thought, he also learned about his team. So you go in, you're in there, you go through mini camps and all that stuff, and you have an idea of what you have, but then you play the season, and then you know what you have. And so the second year is easier for the coaching staff as well as easier for the players because you know what to expect.
I think the communication is going to be better as well, man. I think, like I said, the players have a better understanding of the scheme and what they're being asked to do. So they can play faster, and I think Patrick Graham's got a better sense of who these players are, what their strengths are, where there may be some issues. But I think without question, I think the defensive line's got a chance to be better. I love the additions that they've made. I think obviously we know about Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson with Chandler Jones. I think the corners, to me, that's the key. If the corners, if we can get some good consistent play out of those corners in the secondary, I think this Raider defense has a chance to be a whole lot better in 2023.
Lipke and the Cowboys pushing maybe 3 yards. But in that cornerback room, too, we saw him in the opener, Jacorian Bennett. He has not played the last couple of games, but the 4th-round pick out of Maryland, he certainly made a name for himself in that secondary room here in the preseason.
I thought he played exceptionally well. When they were in man, he was tight. When he was in zones, he was where he had to be. I think he's going to be a good player.
Nate Hobbs impressed me last year, and I think you guys hit the nail on the head when you look at Jacorian Bennett. I think he's going to be another terrific player for the Raiders.
Looks like they're going to go man. Let's see if they bring somebody, and they do.
Bring the blitz. Greer's offense picked it up, going deep, and Robertson, he was step for step with Jalen Cropper.
I have been impressed with his secondary the whole preseason. This has been tight coverage. You're going to watch right in the slot right there. First, you try to get your hands on him, but if you don't, okay, now stay right on his hip. You can't beat that coverage.
Well, and Amik Robertson's fighting for a spot on this roster, too.
Right, exactly.
We talked about a real competition at the quarterback position. Much more depth than a season ago. I think to be dominant on defense, you need great cover corners.
On 3rd and 7, trying to get off the field. Greer fires. Tehoka with the catch. And a first down for the Cowboys. 16 yards to the Stanford wide receiver.
They had the one-on-one to the outside to the right. Tehoka did a nice job in his little comeback. Shelley was on top of him, didn't turn in time.
He's in good position, and then right there he loses him.
Exactly. So this is the old rule. Willie Brown would be having a fit right now. If you walk up on a guy, man-to-man, you walk up, get your hands on him.
Tehoka again, and he spins away from Long, and he's close to another first down. Now, we're talking about the overall talent of this roster. We expect to be joined by Dave Ziegler coming up in the 4th quarter, so we'll have all these conversations with the Raiders general manager as David Long is down. Now, remember, he missed a whole bunch of time early in training camp, coming back a couple days before the Rams game. So while he's walking off and the training staff is coming out to join him, we'll step aside. 9:01 to go here in the second quarter. Coverage that Matt Millen has been talking about for the secondary here throughout the course of the night.
Well, this has started off early in the first quarter. Nick Robinson on there, and then Shelley gets in on this. And watch, they're doing things really well. It's all basics, right? Their eyes are in the right spot. Their hands are in the right spot for the most part. It's just running with a guy and mimicking him. It's not easy to do, but they're making it look easy.
We're on 2nd and 1 to Lipke, who grabs it and rolls out of bounds for a Dallas first down.
Linebacker got picked.
Yep.
Well, it's all part of this cornerback group, and there's a lot of them. And there will be a lot of them that they'll try to have on the practice squad, too. Cowboys go fast. They didn't want to review, and Greer is looking to the end zone. Being chased from behind, and he's forced out of bounds by Tarlis. And again, this one of the focuses in the offseason was to bring in a lot of veterans in the secondary. Guys in their 4th, 5th year. Amik Robertson's going to his 4th year. And then you bring in Marcus Peters, of course, right before King.
And you got smart. You got a veteran safety. I think who's going to be a great communicator in Marcus Epps. I just think the overall depth in the secondary. I think the communication, which is so critical on the back end, is going to be so much better than a season ago.
This is the 13th play of the Cowboys drive. On 66 yards. Rear play action again. Schoonmaker into the end zone. The rookie tight end out of Michigan. And the Cowboys punch it in for a second time tonight.
Greer knows he's got another quarterback coming in. He's not going to make it easy on him. He's playing really well right now.
Cowboys are hurting the Raiders defensively with their quarterback movement. The boots and the nakeds off of play action have been very effective here in the first half against this Raiders defense. Good look at Dak Prescott, who's calling plays tonight for the Cowboys.
Dak going into his 8th season out of Mississippi State. Yeah, it's about to be a very different quarterback room than it was a season ago. Now, Aiden O'Connell faced some in college. He has not faced any deficits in the preseason until tonight. Raiders trailing the Cowboys 14-3. O'Connell 5 of 8 for 36 yards. Had 2 drives, and he's going to get a good look tonight. Do not expect to see Brian Hoyer. Jimmy Garoppolo definitely not playing. But we'll see how far into this game O'Connell goes.
Well, we've still seen his poise. We've seen his accuracy. And he doesn't get worked up over too many things. Like he's pretty calm in that. I think those are 3 great qualities for a quarterback.
He's smart, he's mature, and he's accurate. You're right, man. I think he's the poise and the confidence is really impressive. A lot of traits that you covet at that position. Yep.
Now, speaking of quarterbacks, Tom Brady earlier tonight. Raiders owner Mark Davis escorting Jerry Jones over to see Tom Brady, who, pending league approval, could be a limited partner of the Raiders coming up soon. Of course, the 7 Super Bowl titles. He's got the colors down already. Call those silver pants, or would you call those white pants?
It's tough to tell, but look, anytime you can get a guy like Tom Brady around the building, 23 seasons, 7-time Super Bowl champ, 3-time NFL MVP, he understands what it takes to be a champion.
Damian Williams bounces off the initial tackle, and he fights his way out to the 30-yard line. Certainly one of the all-time greats. Tom Brady just retired last year after the final game, which came against these Cowboys in the playoffs.
Well, Brady had blocking like this right now. This offensive line is doing a pretty darn good job. They've been protecting O'Connell, and they've been pushing around that defensive line.
some firing and a strike. Guess who? It's Christian Wilkerson again. He's got 4 catches here in the first inning.
He's also coming on. That's a perfect job of play action with the guys fighting and O'Connell taking advantage of the hole in that thing.
And I like how quick he gets it out of his hands off the play action fake. Watch after the fake how quickly he gets this thing up and down. Bam!
Look at the second level. Second level took those 2 steps up, and that opened it up right away. Really well done.
Michael Mayer still getting some action here in the second quarter. He was the motion man. Toss play to Williams. Gets the block from Grasu and gets across the 50 before being upended.
And I think you mentioned Michael Mayer, Jason, and Matt mentioned it earlier. An area of his game that has to improve at this level, and it takes a while, is learning to block on the perimeter in the running game. You're going to see Mayer come in. He engages. You got to stick with it. It's a good job running down the line of scrimmage. But this is, the guys you're blocking in the NFL are a little bit different than the guys you block in college. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, and they know how to get off of blocks.
They love the headbutt. You hit you right in the face. Which is my personal favorite.
I think you invented the old headbutt to the face.
I got the chance to experience that pregame.
I wonder how many helmets you went through, Matt, in your day.
I don't know, but I went through about 8 heads.
No, we'll keep it right here. Raiders taking their second timeout. Yeah, Michael Mayer, a lot of people thought might go in the first round. Remember now the new aspect of the draft, having round 1 on Thursday, 2 and 3 on Friday, and the Raiders very quickly in the second round traded up to take him with the second pick on that Friday night.
He's got some good skills. He can run routes pretty well. He's got good hands. He's also a smart guy. He's a Notre Dame guy. And so the last Notre Dame tight end we had here by the name of Dave Casper, he did pretty good.
Goes to the post.
Goes to the post. He's wearing the same number, but the ghost could block his rear end off.
There's pictures of goes to the post all over Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah.
After the timeout on second 04 for O'Connell. Good protection again.
Really
good ball to Tucker.
See that one, Rich?
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is a great throw because the corner was in position to undercut it, was going for the pick. You're going to see Eric Scott out there. He's trying to undercut this route. Watch this throw. I mean, he throws it in about the only place he could to fit it into Trey Tucker. Talk about the anticipation, but the accuracy from Aiden O'Connell has been extremely impressive here so far in the preseason.
Now, so far tonight, the Cowboys have not gotten any pressure, and right on cue, O'Connell gets away from it. And he completes it anyway. Mayer dragging the defender near the 20-yard line. He picks up 13 yards with O'Connell keeping it alive with his legs.
Just when you thought he was a pure pocket guy, he able to get out of that thing. So Mayer chips him, gets out on this route, and doesn't quit. That's a nice job by that rook. Really good job. I like the way he just kind of flipped them off at the end. Just get rid of that DB.
He's gonna be a matchup problem. I think he's gonna be excellent after the catch. Big physical tight end that's going to be hard to bring down in the open field. It's a good-looking drive.
And a good-looking run for Williams. He's in open space, and he scores. Damian Williams to the house.
Well blocked. Nice job up front in that O-line, and then once Williams got to that second level, it was used his eyes and ran where they aren't.
Yeah, really nice block, and as you said up front, you're going to see this hole just open up, but do a great job at the point, coming off on the second level, and that's just really good vision by Damian Williams. And then once he gets past the line of scrimmage, he's off to the races.
Yeah, Jordan Meredith, 61, did a really nice job. Went down inside, got that, slowed him up, and then went back outside to open that hole.
Well, it's not all rookies trying to make the roster. That is an 8th-year veteran and a Super Bowl winner trying to make the silver and black on his final impression. To score in the end zone.
Really impressive. Good mixture of running pass, and I thought Aiden O'Connell continues to look sharp, stepping plays, getting outside the pocket, finding his young tight end. And then capping it off with a great look and run up inside from Damian Williams.
to Malik Davis. Neil Farrell just holding him up at the line of scrimmage. Now, Neil Farrell fighting for that roster spot, too. There's a lot of competition on the interior of that defensive line. He and Matthew Butler, part of the mid-round picks last year. Both dealt with some injuries last season.
Mr. Jake Silver is also in that mix. Just a rookie out of Arizona State. He's got some skills.
Now both of them on the field, and there's Silvera pushing the pocket. Looked like he got held, no flag, and Greer floats it too far downfield for Houston.
I agree with you. I think he was held. Mr. Jade right there. He's trying to get out. Somebody put the hooks on him. There we go. This is what we've been seeing all night long. You can see Shelley just staying right there on him, nowhere to go. Has to try to take a throw down the field.
Now the Raiders defense hasn't really been able to get off the field tonight on third down. Cowboys are 4-6. Opportunity here, third and long. Again, the pocket collapses. Greer's going to take off. And he's got the first down again with his legs. Now, they didn't slide. And Amari Burney among three Raiders out of bounds to knock him down.
That's right. This young quarterback is fighting for the opportunity to continue his career in the National Football League. With the addition of Trey Lance with the trade, you have Cooper Rush. You've got Dak Prescott. Will Greer is the odd man out.
Well, Cooper Rush started 5 games last year after Prescott got hurt in week 1 against Tampa. And they went 4-1 with Rush as the starter. Now, there's a flag on this screen to Malik Davis. It's right around the line of scrimmage. But to your point, Rich, Will Greer's got 31 yards rushing on 3 carries tonight.
He's not the guy that really does a lot of that.
Offense, number 67. It's
not instinctive.
Will Greer looks every bit a part of a third, at least a third string guy. You know what I mean? Someplace in this league. So he doesn't have to be playing for this spot here. He could be playing for a spot in somebody else's team.
Well, that's what he's doing. And
Exactly.
I think, like you said, he doesn't look, he's been in the league 5 years, Matt. Even though he's only got 2 starts under his belt, he's been in a lot of training camps. He's been in a lot of preseason games, a lot of off-season programs, and a lot of quarterback installations, and so does have experience.
And this is his 3rd year here in Dallas with Mike McCarthy. Out to Malik Davis. Great tackle, Duke Shelley in the open field. That's a tough job to get down there, and he made sure he didn't get any farther.
One-on-one, you got to be inside out. Take something away from him. Don't give him the inside of the field. He did exactly that. Was able to catch an ankle. Turned it into a good play.
I like Shelley. You know, I saw a lot of him last year in Minnesota. He looks the part.
He looked the part right there. Looks like they're matching up man again.
Well, and he was a starter for the Vikings the last 5 games last year. That with some injuries. All part of that team that made its way to the playoffs. The handoff to Davis. Takes it out to the 45. A flag from the secondary.
Get the tight end for holding. Sean McEwen, 84.
Holding. Offense number 84. That's a 10-yard penalty. Second down.
It's well done by Rich
I
Gannon.
used to be a referee back in the day. You're just going to watch him. He's in good position, and now you watch this. You can't do that. Can't grab the shirt. Really no need for it. Does it down the field. It's a bad penalty.
Depends on your perspective. I thought that was a good penalty.
Well, yeah, you're right.
They do not have to snap it again, and they will not get the next playoff, which is a 2nd and 30. We've come to the 2-minute warning in the 2nd quarter. Raiders on the comeback, trailing Dallas 14-10, and you're watching Raiders football presented by Visit Vegas. 14-10 here in the final preseason tune-up. Cowboys leading the Raiders Josh McDaniels told us earlier that they're not getting the guys to look at Denver in week 1 yet. That doesn't mean that we can't. Jason Horowitz, Rich Gannon, Matt Millen, the first 3 games of the season, and 2 on the road. Long trip to Buffalo before coming home for Sunday Night Football against the Steelers.
Not an easy schedule.
Anxious to see what the quarterback looks like in Denver in year 2 with a different head coach. Russell Wilson really struggled. Didn't look like himself a season ago.
Had some wide receivers issues with all the injuries. Jerry Jeudy went down this week in practice with a hamstring injury. Greer on 2nd and 30. Dumps it short to Lipke, and again there's Shelley coming up in an open field tackle.
Smart. They're just playing to cover deep, too deep. Just letting them throw underneath, and then they make the tackle. Nice job by Shelley.
And the Raiders.
Third and final timeout.
Raiders taking their final timeout, so they want to give Aiden O'Connell a chance for an end-of-half situation here. They want to get the ball back. They want to give him the ball with about a minute to go.
Love those opportunities to continue to evaluate, and we especially talk about situational football. You want your young quarterback to have another opportunity to take the team down with no timeouts. I also thought it was interesting the conversation, guys, we had with Josh McDaniels earlier today. We talked about the difference between this year's roster this time as opposed to a year ago. So last year we had about 47, maybe 49 players that we really like to keep on that roster. He said this year that number is closer to 58, Matt. So think about it, just in terms of the overall depth and talent, this is a much improved roster from a season ago.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any question. I think you and I said that the first week we saw this team. This is a better football team than they had a year ago.
Fortunately, you only get to keep 53 on the active roster. Greer got out of there again.
Out of there.
And his legs doing the work again. He's got another first down on the ground. This time he goes for 19 yards.
Nice job by Will Greer. So first they're gonna rush 4, right? And so that's the numbers. And then Greer, he takes off to the middle, and everybody's dropped.
He's the leading rusher in the game with 49 yards, and he finds Lipke, who breaks a tackle. He breaks another, and finally tripped up. Hunter Lipke not denied, and the Cowboys on the move after that Raiders timeout.
Well, you got a couple players from the Cowboys that are playing with a great sense of urgency. One of them is the quarterback, and one of them is this running back, Lipke.
Well, they gashed this defense for 270 yards, and Lipke's wide open. Touchdown, Dallas. Well, we've talked about the defense not having any breakdowns in this preseason. Been a little bit of a different story here in the first half.
Well, that's wide open.
It's wide open.
You don't see that a lot. You're just going to watch the back come out and run the flat route. And there's no flat defender. The linebacker is way inside. This is just too easy, Matt.
Yeah, they're just sitting there in the zone, not paying attention.
Hunter Lipke has carried the ball 9 times. He has 4 catches for 62 yards. Well, you guys talked about Will Greer playing for a job, whether here or somewhere else. He is 18 of 23 for 182, a couple of scores, and nearly 50 yards rushing.
You have to think that there's a couple teams out there that need some depth and talent at that position. And you've got a veteran quarterback in Will Greer that not only has looked good tonight, but obviously comes from a program where you know he's been coached the right way. Matt was talking about it. They've got a very good coaching staff here. Mike McCarthy is intimately involved as the head coach, a lot like Josh McDaniels, in coaching up that position.
Facial hair certainly topic of Twitter conversation between these two quarterbacks. Aiden, the trimmed mustache.
That's not trim. That's all he can do.
Oh, whatever. That's becoming his go-to look. You need a go-to look. It goes with the go-to arm.
Whatever works for you, but I'll tell you, this kid's been impressive.
Yeah, he has.
I wouldn't change a thing. I'd leave that mustache just the way it is.
Will Greer is clearly going the other direction, the full-out facial beard. Not trim.
We have about 45, 47 seconds based on whether or not this ball is returned. He's going to have all 50.
And no timeouts. So here in the preseason, rookie quarterback, 50 seconds, giving him good protection tonight. What type of aggression are you looking at?
Well, look, I like what I've seen from him. I think he's been really good in situational football, understanding the red zone, understanding third down, and doing a nice job when he's had the opportunity in some of these hurry-up 2-minute situations. Most important play here in this drive is the first play. You want to come away with something positive.
A lot of times that's the screen. If they go that way, Sincere McCormick is the running back. Looking farther downfield, and it's Wilkerson who's trying to get out of bounds and won't get there. But they pick up a good chunk on first down, nice 17 yards.
Really nice job getting the ball back to the official so he could spot it and put the ball back in play.
Nice job of protection.
Taking a shot again, and again it's Wilkerson. He's got 6 catches here in the half as they dip inside of 20 seconds, and they'll try and clock the ball.
Going to clock it. He's going to have to. He's got to clock it.
Well, initially, Matt, he had pointed to try and call a play, and then he realized he had to conserve some time.
Yeah, I think he saw the sideline and they were telling him.
Well, no timeouts left. 10 seconds here.
Nice job coming back to the football.
Ball's right where it had to be. He's trying to get out of bounds, but they're doing a nice job of not letting him get out of bounds.
No, they've got time if they complete something quick to have the receiver go down and clock it, or they need to use the boundary.
Officials added 1 second. There's the quick throw, but he missed it.
Smart job throwing the ball away. The corner undercuts this. He just throws this one away. Good play by the young quarterback.
Well, from here it would be a 61-yard field goal attempt for Carlson, whose career long is 57.
So you have no shot here with 7 seconds left of clocking it. If he completes something in the field of play, the half is over. So he's got to be able to use the boundary. 2 things you can do here. You can throw something quick to try and get the ball out of bounds, or you can run a little double move and take a shot to the end zone. When you look at this, or a double move. There it is.
Going quick.
And the corners aren't going to let him throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, they undercut that again. 4 seconds. Now you take a shot down the field.
Now they're going to try the
61er.
61.
Yeah, why not?
You got a guy that has that range. Carlson. Little luxury when you have a kicker like Daniel Carlson, who has a big leg and has this kind of range. We watched him in pregame warm-up stroke a few from here.
Well, officially it's from 62 yards. Cole gets down the high snap, and he drills it.
That would have been good from 67.
Yeah, there's still some meat left on that bone.
Well, what do they say? Everything's bigger in Texas, including the field goals.
That was well done. That was a good look. Look, it's a really impressive 2-minute drive by the young quarterback with no timeouts to get his team down there and to have a chance to kick a field goal before the half.
Well, that's an impressive kick from Carlson as we welcome in Josh McDaniels here on the sideline. Go ahead, Rich.
Coach, I was just saying, that's an impressive drive for the young quarterback. You know, no timeouts left to get the team in a position to have a chance to kick a field goal before the half.
Yeah, made 2 chunk plays there. No timeouts is not an ideal situation, but I thought he handled himself pretty well there, and he did the right thing there when they were guarding the sideline on the last couple.
Yeah, Josh, I think the first half here, your offensive line's done a pretty decent job of keeping the pocket pretty clean and giving him time to be able to throw.
Yeah, I think we're doing some decent things offensively. you know, we had a short field there in the first one and got 3 and got something going there on the last touchdown, you know, drive. But you know, a couple of things we got to clean up. We had a couple penalties in the first quarter that's kind of stalled us out, and we got to get a hand on this quarterback on the other side of the ball. We haven't done much to disrupt him, so we got to figure something out here.
Yeah, he's gotten away for a bunch of yards scrambling. Thank you, Coach. We'll see you later.
You got it. Thanks.
Josh McDaniels, head coach. We'll talk, by the way, with Dave Ziegler coming up later in the second half with 3 days to go before the roster cut down. 21-13, halftime here in Arlington. Welcome back to Texas and AT&T Stadium. Halftime against the Cowboys. But last week in the victory over the Rams, rookie defensive back Chris Smith was wired for sound. And Mic'd Up is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ready to get out there with the guys, man. Good week of practice. Now we got to capitalize during the game. My man. Yeah, DC. Catch it on the run. Good return! Oh yeah, good penetration. We get close to the ball though. That means it's coming. I'm trying to tell you. Ooh! He gotta hold you to contain you. That's all he gotta hold you, bro. All right, bro. Let's do it. Second half, get some money. Keep the lead. They can't win if they don't score.
Great moments so far in this preseason that has 1 half remaining for the silver and black. We'll also have Raiders general manager Dave Ziegler coming up in the second half. Not going to want to miss that. Second half kickoff coming up next. Our field goal to send us to the half. Aiden O'Connell was 10 of 16 in that opening half for 106 yards. We talked in the halftime first couple of weeks, the defense doing a great job on third down. That was not the case tonight. Will Greer with his legs really hurting the Raiders defense.
You look at time of possession, the Cowboys have got the ball almost twice as long. Their success on third down, but I think the big story in the first half has been this Will Greer for the Cowboys, and the Raiders in the second half can do a better job getting some more consistent pressure on him, Matt, keep him in the pocket. He's really hurt them when he's got outside the pocket.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot that they're trying to get to the edge tonight in their passing game. But then the other thing you have to look at is the third downs. They have not converted a third down situation. However, Aiden O'Connell, only 4 or 5 for 48 yards on first down here tonight. But I think Aiden O'Connell at the end of this half showed exactly what he can do. Picking up those 3 points at the end was a big deal.
You know, and there is a conversation over the last couple of weeks being had in the national media, certainly in Las Vegas, about whether or not the Raiders would decide to have O'Connell as the backup quarterback to Jimmy Garoppolo. They brought in Brian Hoyer, 15-year vet. Josh McDaniels has very much throughout the course of this preseason talked about what Brian Hoyer can mean to this organization. First of all, as a backup who has started in this league many times, but also as a teacher for Aiden O'Connell moving forward.
And it doesn't have to be right this second, right? So that could be a process by the time 3/4 of the season's gone. Maybe Aiden O'Connell is there. But right now, he doesn't know enough about this offense.
Now, first time tonight seeing a return. It's Darwin Thompson trying to zigzag his way out to the 20, and he's just going to make it back.
I think it's what's clear to see with Aiden O'Connell is that he's a quarterback that has really benefited from a lot of reps in the offseason. I mentioned it from the time he was drafted. He came to Las Vegas, working with the coaching staff and the OTAs, the mini camps, and these controlled scrimmages. He took the majority of the offseason work because of Jimmy Garoppolo's injury situation and the fact that Brian Hoyer's a 15-year vet. They didn't want him to get the reps. And the fact that Aiden O'Connell has played the majority of the reps in these preseason games, I think has served him well.
He's taking a shot over the middle of Keelan Cole on first down. Nice spin move. Oops. And that
doesn't look right.
Might not be as nice as we thought.
breaking it. Pulled up a little bit, came down awkwardly. Just watch right here, he cuts.
Yeah, he just twisted that ankle. You see when he tried to put the brakes on.
Keelan Cole coming into the night, the leading receiver for the Raiders in terms of catches here in the preseason. But that grab now has 12. And it's Williams breaking another one. He had a 24-yard touchdown, and he just steps out of bounds at the 49-yard line. That's 19 more for the 8th-year pro.
He thinks this is Oklahoma. He's getting a nice blocking up front from these guys. You're going to watch the guard pull around. And he's just going to follow that. And then once he gets to the second level, it's on him. Nice job right there on that pull.
Nice job by Meredith coming around. He gets the kick out at the point of attack, and Williams does the rest.
And he gets the toss. This time not going to go very far. Viliame Fehoko, the 4th-round pick in the former Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year to make the stop.
Yeah, that's the first time that I've really seen the Cowboys bring a stunt. And they brought a blitzer out to that outside and ran right into it. And kind of took that thing away. Sets up the 2nd and long. They're still sitting in the cover, too. Or 2 shell, I should say.
Jesper Horsted makes the low grab. And he fights his way forward down to the 35-yard line. That's 15 yards.
Nice route by him. And a nice job of taking advantage of bouncing off that backer before the ball was thrown. You see that, Rich? Just like he drew it up.
Yep. You know, Matt, what's impressive is he knows where to go with the football. He does a great job, I think, deciphering some pre-snap alignments. He's got a good sense of the type of coverage, and it's a good job trusting his eyes. This is man-to-man.
Yep.
And it's a run play, and Damian Williams gobbled up immediately. Darrell Johnson, rookie out of Liberty, got through the line.
So when you're going man-to-man, you can get an extra defender down inside, and you can also move your defensive line, which is what they did right there. Which they didn't do at all in the first half. Let's see if they don't bring some heat on O'Connell here.
Well, he's only taken 1 sack here in the preseason. That in itself is an impressive number for a rookie quarterback. Stands tall, he finds Horsted.
Good protection again.
Good protection, good
clean
decision
pocket.
making. Rich, how about his eyes? Went from deep to short like you're supposed to. I mean, he's a disciplined guy back there.
He checks a lot of the boxes, Matt. It's really every time out, he's been impressive. You know, I think that's something to build on. What we saw week 1 against the 49ers, we really liked. He goes on the road last week against the Rams. He looks sharp. He's on the road again tonight. Clearly, this moment isn't too big for Aiden O'Connell.
Looks like could be man again.
They back out of the blitz on 3rd and 7. Downfield, and Dorsett is bumped. No flag. Kelvin Joseph in coverage. And they will trot on the field goal team.
Well, heck, you could have made it from 65 the last time. Let's see where they're going to go now.
The chip shot, Matt.
That's only 60.
I mean, if he wants to back it up 10 yards just to make the snap harder for Bobenmeyer.
Well, he's just showing off, man.
It is the preseason. Good snap, good hold, good kick. And Carlson is 3 for 3 tonight, including a 62-yarder. So they end the half with a scoring drive, and they start the second half with one as well. And the defense get a stop. It's time for the connection of the game, brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Well, Christian Wilkerson has been that most targeted receiver in preseason, and he's got 6 grabs for 71 yards tonight on 8 of the targets from Aiden O'Connell. And this goes back to what we talked about to open this broadcast, the battle for the final few roster spots on this team, including at receiver, where, you know, Christian Wilkerson might be one of those last guys to make this team.
Yeah, really some tough decisions. We talked about 4 veterans that came over in free agency: Philip Dorsett, Cam Sims, Keelan Cole, and that man right there, Christian Wilkerson. And I'll just tell you, these are going to be some tough decisions that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels have to make in the next 48 hours.
Dave Ziegler will join us coming up here in the 4th quarter. Carlson will boot this through the end zone. And obviously all of this not stemming from this final preseason game. Just one more look at this for Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. And if you're wondering what they decided last year, this the amount of players per position. Matt, you had to make these decisions for nearly a decade. Right. Does the carryover from year to year matter?
Yeah, it does. It makes a difference. And so there's some guys you had a year ago. The staff is, they know who they are. They understand what their role is. They know who they perform well. And you got new guys coming in. The biggest thing right now is you have to look at who they're playing against as well. And you can't just say, oh, this guy played a great game, but the guy he's playing against stinks.
Well, Will Greer's playing a great game.
He's playing well against tight coverage. So that's nice, and his decision-making has been good. So you're watching this against a Raiders secondary right here. They're just going to be sitting here in zone, and he has some time. That's the one thing the Raiders haven't been able to do tonight, is get pressure on the passer. And when they have gotten pressure, he's been able to get away with it with his feet.
Well, they had 4 sacks in the opener. Drake Thomas in there to stick his head in to make the stop. They only had 1 sack last week against the Rams, and to your point, none so far tonight. They've had their hands on it. Right from the beginning, Tyree Wilson had a chance at a sack, but his ability to escape with his feet have been massive. That's what Josh McDaniels was talking about right before halftime when he walked off and talked to us. Got to get him down in the backfield. It's Davis hopping through and over.
Just a nice play. Did a great job of jumping over him. Still ends up making it. He wouldn't make the tackle.
This time Jaden Grant comes up to make sure that this is much more of a normal tackle.
Guys, we're talking about the final cut downs, and the reality of it is this. You do some quick math. There's 32 teams. Each team has to let go of 37 players. That's 1,184 players that'll be on the street. Now, there's the practice squad. You take 32 teams, 16 players on the practice squad. That's 512. So a little less than half of them have an opportunity to get back on the practice squad. But we're still talking about a lot of players across the National Football League that will have a very difficult time sleeping the next couple nights.
Big hole for Lipke. Grant holds on for dear life, but another first down. The Cowboys have been gashing the Raiders defense throughout the course of this night for big play after big play.
Yeah, and a lot of this is just getting off your blocks and maintaining discipline of scheme up front. Then you're just getting blocked.
328 yards tonight for the Cowboys. Nearly 7 yards of play. Greer across his body, tough throw, and Cropper made the catch.
Greer has an advantage here. He's thinking faster than this defense is playing. And so he's anticipating things well. He's throwing the ball exceptionally well.
This is good work, Matt, because they're going to see something very similar week 1 against Denver. A quarterback that has pretty good mobility and throws the ball very well when he's outside the tackle box. Screen. Late develop.
He threw that with his left hand. And they won't get back to the line of scrimmage, but just to avoid the sack from Neil Farrell, did everything he possibly could to get it to Lipke.
Well, Lipke's playing himself a pretty good football game here. Now, Bernie had coverage on him. When you have coverage, you got to suck right up on him. He tried to go in and try to get some pressure and then had to put the brakes on and pull back.
There was a loss of 2 on the catch. Another lengthy drive for the Cowboys. They're in this preseason. Short over the middle, Tyler Hall riding the back of the tight end, Princeton Fant, rookie out of Tennessee. So bring him 3rd down here and another opportunity for the Raiders to get a stop.
They're going to have to tighten this one up because they went to his zone the last time and he just hit the hole right away. He's reading it before they're even doing anything. Looks like they're in man to see him going out with the motion. Oh, there he is right underneath. Make the tackle. Okay.
They did.
4th down.
That is Drake Thomas on Tyron Johnson, keeping him about a half yard shy of the marker.
They're going to go for it. So anytime you see the bunch around there in your man coverage, you got to know they're going to try to hit the inside receiver like that. Drake Thomas got to jump that thing a little bit quicker.
Fourth and 1 for Greer. Davis, the tailback. And he's got the 1st down.
Nice job by that offensive line. You saw Davis, when he got the ball, just a little bit of stutter. That was to let everybody kind of clear out. They were trying to clog the middle, and then he just kind of shimmied out to the right.
All of this tonight with Dak Prescott on the headset calling the plays.
I think that's invaluable, Rich, right there.
Yeah, it forces you to come at it from a different perspective.
Yep, exactly right.
Takes a lot of preparation to get yourself comfortable enough to call a game.
Greer with his legs again. Great job by Azizi Hearn not to let him get the corner and pushed him out of bounds.
And he wanted to go with a stiff arm. And Hearn does the same thing right back. Watch. He's going to try to give him a stiff arm there, and he's like, nah, I don't think so.
That was well done.
Did you ever get the option to call plays?
I did. Almost, but not quite. I wouldn't really go there, but...
Well, you did say earlier tonight you could be an official in your next...
That's it.
Greer takes off again. Yeah. Nobody sees him. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. Well, all the linebackers, their backs had turned away from the line of scrimmage.
Except for one, Drake Thomas. He came on a blitz. He started to the left side and went around to the right, and he just vacated. Watch him. You're going to see him. Watch. Now, he's going to come around to the right. Now, guess where the quarterback's going? Right back to where he was. It's the where you were rule.
Yeah, you see man coverage all matched up. So everybody has their eyes turned to the quarterback, and you've got a gaping hole. That's just too easy.
That's not on Drake Thomas. The 2 defensive linemen, one of them was supposed to get to his space. He didn't get there. They both fell down. Thomas came around to the right. There was nobody to the left.
Bill Greer having a night here on the final preseason game. 28-16, hometown Cowboys leading the Raiders here with 4:30 to go in this final preseason game. Well, Will Greer there on the left, Cooper Rush on the right. Last year they were battling for the backup spot. Greer had a groin injury. Cooper Rush won the backup job. He went 4-1 as a starter last year, but Will Greer, again, yesterday the Cowboys trading for Trey Lance, a 4th-round pick to the 49ers, so his job respect, this looks a little bit different today, but he is certainly putting a resume tape together tonight.
Yeah, you think about it, Trey Lance. Really, it isn't about now, it's about the future. San Francisco gave up 3 first-round picks to Miami to select him with the 3rd overall pick in 2021.
You go back to this last touchdown, Will Greer, Matt, his second on the ground.
Going to the watching side here, it looks like they're going to have some kind of a stunt in here. He starts and then comes around. And what ends up happening is these two guys, they just kind of trip each other. Watch. There's the flop. There's the hole. There's the touchdown.
Let's good look at the quarterbacks for the Cowboys. Prescott has a no-trade clause. Can't be given a franchise tag when his contract ends at the 2024 season.
And remember, when he signed his deal, it was a 4-year, $160 million contract, which, you know, by some of the contract standards now over the last few years, it's minimal compared to some of the higher paid quarterbacks.
But it's 2024. That's the number. The 2024 salary cap number is a massive $59.4 million, and the Cowboys would face a $61.9 million in dead money if they release him. You know, look, Romo was an undrafted free agent. Prescott was a 4th-round pick. You give him a 4th-round pick to get a good young quarterback that just, for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out in San Francisco. He only played in 8 games, 4 starts. He was hurt. It's a good opportunity for Trey Lance to come to Dallas and not have to play, but yet learn a system. And they do a really good job here developing young quarterbacks. I've really been impressed with this Wilkerson. He's just got a knack for getting open, making plays after the catch.
McCormick trying to break some tackles, taken down.
Got some quick feet, McCormick. Picked up about 4 yards there, maybe 5. Nice quick little movement on the inside.
Sear McCormick last year, undrafted free agent out of UTSA, tore his ACL in May. Never got that chance his rookie season to fight for a spot. On 2nd and 4 for O'Connell. In tight coverage, and he threw it low. Isaiah Zuber, the intended receiver.
Still was the right place to throw it. He had really tight coverage on top of him. You're going to watch this. Tries to get inside with a bunch of people collapsing in the middle. Keep it down low. It's either going to be incomplete or he's going to make one catch.
Well, 3rd down for Aiden O'Connell the first couple weeks. Been impressive. Tonight the Raiders are 0-5 on 3rd down.
This is what's held him back. 3rd down. Here it comes.
Tough throw. What a catch! Cam Sims took it off the defender's helmet.
Rich, this is exactly what you talked about before the game. Look at the height advantage that he has. And we're talking about the length, so watch the length of his arms. Just, wow, beautiful job. Just took it right out of the air.
Well, you love that size, Matt. It's 6'5". You saw him make a great catch in the end zone last week. That's what he gives you. He gives you length and size at the wide receiver position.
McCormick jitters his way for 9, and the push make it 11 and a 1st down. Well, his quick feet, Matt, were on full display right there.
He's got some good quickness. And when guys have great quickness, they've got great vision because you can't go where you can't see.
I love that so many of these young players are they're playing so hard with great energy and passion to try and make this final cut down. He's laying it on the line.
Into the flat for Dorsett. Can't get away from linebacker Jabril Cox. We approach 1 minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. And you made this point earlier, Rich, too. 16 players on the practice squad. So, yes, it's 90-53, but with the new rules in the practice squad, a lot of those guys get called up to active games throughout the course of a season, and maybe even longer.
Yeah, you have to be ready, right? It's a great opportunity if you don't make the final 53 to be able to still stay with an organization, continue to work at your craft, and hopefully one day become a contributor or even a starter for a team like the Raiders.
On the toss to McCormick. Upended. Josh Butler from the corner spot coming up, going low.
Looked like a gymnastics meet. I'd give him probably an 8 on the flip right here. He didn't land it.
Yeah, be careful when you leave your feet. Our guys get hurt.
Well, they don't have to run another play here in the third quarter. So the silver and black will march down to the other end zone with a third down coming up as we will head to the final quarter of the 2023 preseason. A quarter in which Dave Ziegler will join us up here in the booth. 28-16, you're watching Raiders football presented by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders. On the screen. Cannot wait to get back inside Allegiant Stadium, Week 3, September 24th. Sunday Night Football against the Steelers here. It's Week 3 of the preseason, AT&T Stadium. Raiders facing a third down and 6 to open the fourth quarter for Aiden O'Connell, who is 16 of 24. Dumps it short. Dorsett trying to get the corner and cannot get the first down. Kelvin Joseph made the tackle. So it'll be fourth down and about 1.5, and they're going to keep the offense on the field. Well, heading into the game tonight, this is certainly a focus for the Raiders. Offensive coordinator Mick Lombardi, Josh McDaniels, once we get to the regular season. Red zone issues last year in terms of scoring touchdowns.
It was a problem. 26th in red zone efficiencies. He makes something a point of emphasis, which this has been for the Raiders in the offseason, and certainly looks like they've got it cleaned up.
O'Connell to the air, and it's batted down, incomplete. Miles Brooks came over Wilkerson, and the Raiders turn it over on downs.
It looked like a good throw, which I couldn't tell from this angle up here.
Well, it also looked like it was good coverage too, man.
It looks like he was a little bit behind him.
He just missed it behind him.
So O'Connell heads to the sideline. They had scored 4 straight drives. That comes to an end. For every Raiders first down at Allegiant Stadium this year, America First Credit Union will donate $100 to a local charity. Jason Horowitz, Matt Millen, Rich Gannon, happy to have you back with us here at AT&T Stadium. Aiden O'Connell, 17 of 26, 178 yards.
He wanted that last throw back.
Lipke spun down, nested Jade Silvera.
So Aiden O'Connell has been pretty accurate here tonight. On that last one, that's the first one I saw him throw just slightly behind. Wouldn't you say, Rich?
Yeah, you know, if you miss a little bit in this league, it doesn't take much. I mean, the windows are so tight. The coverage, particularly when it's man-to-man, I mean, you just got to be exact and precise with your location.
Don't know if we'll see him the rest of the way. See Chase Garbers, who we did not see in L.A. against the Rams. Lipke bottled up inside and again fights forward for a few more yards. You've talked about his accuracy, Aiden O'Connell, throughout the course of this preseason, guys. At the moment, 43 of 62, nearly 70% completion here in the preseason.
Yeah, and not all checkdowns and quick throws. I mean, he's done a nice job pushing the ball down the field. I think we've gotten a sense for his, not only his arm strength, but his accuracy down the field on those deep in cuts and those deep balls on the boundary.
On third and short, Greer right on. It was behind Cropper, but he made the adjustment to make the grab in front of Brown. First down, Dallas again.
And the other thing, just to pay off what you were saying, Jason, about Aiden O'Connell, he's got nice touch. But not every throw has to be a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. You have to be able to throw from different arm angles. You have to be able to throw different paces, different speeds. From the crossing routes, he does a nice job taking something off the ball. and put the ball in a position where the receiver has a chance to get into the transition of the run.
Greer downfield behind the defense, and he left it right into the bucket of Tyron Johnson.
Boy, this kid Greer is having a whale of a night.
What he's having also is great protection. The Raiders have not been able to get to him, and because of that, you can see Ike Brown just mental mistake. You got to keep on sinking.
That's the 10th straight completion for Will Greer, who is 25 of 30 for 252. He has accounted for 4 touchdowns tonight. Dallas 2 in the air and 2 on the ground. That one's up high, and Houston batted it right almost to the Raiders.
I don't care what string you're on, first, second, or third string. If you give any of these NFL quarterbacks a chance to sit back there in the pocket and pat the ball, they're going to pick you apart. And that's been the problem tonight. They've done a nice job changing the launch point for these Cowboy quarterback, but he's had time back there, Matt, in the pocket.
Yeah, well, they haven't generated a rush except for really since Willis.
Yeah, early in the first
Tyree Wilson when he took his eye off the quarterback.
Yeah, right? First drive of the game, right? The Raiders collapsed the pocket twice.
Yep.
Greer kind of danced his way out of there 2 separate times. But after that, and he has been sacked 6 times here in the preseason. So the offensive line for the Cowboys, and again, they have not played their starters at all in this preseason. But tonight they've done a better job. Cowboys with 400 yards of offense here tonight with 11:10 to go in the ballgame. On 3rd and 10. Greer to the air. Tyron Johnson bobbled that out of bounds. He did have the catch, though, before and went out of bounds about a yard shy of the marker. So 4th down coming up.
Look up at the top of the screen, one-on-one coverage. A little bit of a push off there.
Off on the inside. Ooh. Well, first attempt, he didn't get it, but it looked like on the second push, Malik Davis has the first down. So they did get that first down on the second push as we welcome in the general manager of the Raiders, Dave Ziegler, who's joining us down on the field. Dave, thank you so much for joining us here to give us some insight into what you guys are looking at over the course of the next 72 hours. Let's just start with the news of the day and the excitement in the building to get the preseason storyline and Josh Jacobs behind you.
Sorry, I was watching that bad snap go down. Seeing if we could get a fumble recovery. A lot of excitement, you know. We have worked to get that deal in place for a long time. And, definitely a spark, some energy in the building. A lot of guys, big smiles on their face, including mine, to get Josh Jacobs into camp with us and being where he belongs, which is with the Raiders.
And I think the timing, Dave, is really good. The fact that you got 15 days before that first game, I think that certainly helps everybody to find out where he's at.
Yeah, it will give us some time to kind of ramp things up gradually and get him to a spot when we go to play Denver where he's ready to go.
I think one of the things you've got to be, I'm going to get a flag on this play. One of the things you've got to be happy about is the play of your offensive line through this preseason. Although I know things are very basic right now, but I thought a better level of play now than a year ago.
Yeah, I think you saw it. You know, our quarterbacks benefited from it. You saw Aiden when Aiden was in the game and Hoyer was in the game. They had time to throw. A lot of protection, pass pro, which you guys know goes into good communication and being in sync and playing together. And that's a big part of having a successful offensive line, and that's been good to see this preseason.
Dave, one of the big stories this preseason has been your young quarterback, Aiden O'Connell. You got to be pleased when you send scouts out. This process started a couple years ago, and you do all this digging, and you find a young player that comes in that picks up the system and really just looks poised and comfortable under center.
Yeah, he's done a really good job coming in as a rookie, learning the playbook, managing the huddle, and going out there and move the team. And that's what you want to see from a young quarterback. He's made good decisions. He's showed good anticipation and accuracy. He's still learning. There's still things that, he has to adjust to. But a really positive start for him and something, our college guys identified a lot of good traits in him when they brought him to the table, and we've seen some of that stuff here this preseason.
Dave Ziegler good enough to give us some of his time here in the fourth quarter. Tyree Wilson, we got a chance to see him tonight for 14 snaps.
Yep.
That's not a ton of evaluation for you, but your takeaways from his first game action.
Yeah, gradually, just trying to get him gradually ramped up, and you have to remember, he hasn't played a game since, I think, November of last year, and that was at Texas Tech. And so, looked like he did some good things. I saw him power the tackle one time. I think he needs to get in his conditioning is still something that we need to work on, which isn't a surprise. He hasn't had a lot of time on the practice field. But good to get him out there, good for him to get a little taste of action of what NFL football is like, and we're excited for that.
Dave, we're going to keep you through. We're going to take a break, but Dave Ziegler is going to stay with us through this, and he'll join us on the other side when the Raiders offense takes the field. Right, to opportunity. This is big for you guys, all these guys on the final part of the roster, this kickoff coverage and, of course, return team.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The special teams is where guys, can find a way onto the roster. Their ability to contribute on how many ever phases they can get on. There's a lot of opportunities that are created making the team just by their ability in the kicking game.
Dave, just walk us through what the next 48 hours looks like for you and Josh. I know you had some meetings today.
Yeah.
You'll certainly watch this game film tonight on the plane. Just walk us through what the next couple of days looks like for you guys.
Yeah, we'll get on the plane and kind of work through the game, and we have some conversations teed up, at each position group, different questions that we want to have answered, both from this game and just looking back at the whole preseason. And so we'll start to narrow those things down tomorrow, and then we're going to have to start, making some cuts here on, between, Tuesday and Wednesday and get the team down to 53, and then the 16 practice squad players.
Dave, we're going to keep you. That was a short segment. They're going to another commercial.
No problem. Keep it rolling.
New quarterback coming in. We can talk about Aiden O'Connell's preseason next we're done. Well, Chase Garber's in his second year out of Cal, making his second appearance here in the preseason, which means the 3 preseason appearances for Aiden O'Connell are done. He finishes this last night 17 of 26 for 178. Dave Ziegler continues to join us here live on the field, where he was giving us an update of the food in the suites. Appreciate that, Dave. Aiden O'Connell, obviously very impressive, and it continued tonight with his accuracy as well.
Yeah, he's strung 3 solid performances together, and I think he's grown each week. He's done a good job of problem solving out on the field when things don't look perfect, which is something that we've looked for. So, hey, he built a good foundation here to build off of the rest of the year.
Dave, I know going through the process is not an easy process, but part of that process is who he played for. And Jeff Brom at Purdue was not easy on him. He put a lot on his shoulders, and I wonder, do you take that into consideration when you're evaluating him?
Sure. That's part of the evaluation process, is who they were coached by, and how hard they were coached, and how does that fit into our system, which is a demanding system. And we knew that they were putting a lot on his shoulders on the field. And he did a good job with Jeff's offense and what they asked him to do, and we felt that was another kind of a box to check when we were going through his evaluation process.
I had a lot of his games, and the one thing that stood out was poise, and it's carried over into the preseason. You can see it.
no question. And one of the more important traits that you have to be a successful quarterback in this league, as you guys know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave, Christian Wilkerson just had another catch. That is his 8th of the night. I know that's a guy that you guys saw in New England and knew over there. He was on IR last year with concussion. What has stood out to you as you brought him in and he's fighting for one of these final spots at wide receiver?
He's made plays. You know, every preseason game that he's had the opportunity, he's made plays. There's been a couple times where, you know, he's had a drop or two, but he's bounced back and then came back and made a play. And so he showed, you know, really good resilience in that way. He also has some size on the perimeter. He can block in the run game, block the force, and those are all, you know, versatile traits that we look for.
Yeah, I know these next couple of days are tough, you know, because you develop relationships with these players, the coaches. Then you got to sit down as a staff and make some tough decisions. But I think that if you just look at where you were a season ago compared to now, Dave, I just think that, you know, talking to Josh earlier, he said, you know, maybe 47 guys, 48 guys we really felt high about a year ago. And now, he said the number's closer to 58. Like, there's like 58 players right now that we feel are good enough to make this roster. I mean, that's saying something in the difference of 12 months.
Yeah, I think, you know, between our college scouting department and our pro scouting department, you know, they've done a really good job here of identifying the type of players that we want to build a competitive roster. And we feel like we've done that. We feel like we're a little bit deeper than we were a year ago. We feel like there's more competition throughout the roster that's, you know, going to make this even a more difficult process than it already is.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that you're a better football team now than you were a year ago. The question is, how much better? And that's what we have to see, especially when the real bullets start to fly, because right now it's just kind of benign. You're just playing just kind of straight fronts, and you're not really getting much pressure.
Yeah, no question. Until the regular season starts, you know, that's when you really figure out what you have, when teams are game planning for it, you know, to take your strengths away, and you're trying to do the same, and that's when you really find out, you know, what you're made of. And, you know, we're excited about the season, and we feel like we have a competitive group of players that love football, that love the process. They're going to be good in critical situations, and, you know, we're ready to get this thing rolling.
Dave Ziegler continues to join us here as we approach 4.5 minutes to go in this preseason. Chase Garber's just found Wilkerson 2 more times. So now in the red zone. And obviously this is a focus for you guys in the offseason, right? Being better on offense in the red zone and the guys that you brought in to do that.
No question. You know, that's an area that we wanted to make sure that we improved, you know, with Hunter Renfro, Jacoby Myers, Devontae, and obviously Josh Jacobs, you know, in the mix, and along with Michael Mayer and Austin Hooper. We feel like we have a lot of guys that can produce in the passing game, that can win in tight coverage is what you have to do in the red zone, because those windows are so tight. You have to make contested plays, and you have to be able to win the one-on-one, and we're excited about the group that we have. And, of course, Jimmy, you know, has had success down there throughout his career, so we're excited to see how that develops this year.
I know you can't see it, but we just showed Hunter on the screen. Great beard game going again this year. You ever have one, Dave?
Yeah, I've rocked a beard. I rocked a beard a time or two. When we were in New England, I had to get the playoff beard going, just to, you know, get a little extra mojo going. And if I have to pull that out this year, I'm not going to be scared to do it.
Did you grow one with the Golden Knights going to win the Stanley Cup? Did you join in?
No, they didn't need any help from me. They were rolling, so I kept it clean and let them do their thing.
Hey, Dave, last one for me. The one thing that's really noticeable, and Josh talked about it earlier, the overall operation. I mean, just getting in and out of the huddle, the communication.
Yeah.
I think the tempo, I just think it's been solid. I mean, just, you know, it looks like a well-coached team, young players out there that know what to do in critical situations. The lack of penalties, the lack of turnovers, taking the ball away defensively. There's a lot of positives that have come out of this preseason.
Yeah, and that's a direct correlation with Coach McDaniels and what he demands from the players, and what his staff doing a good job of carrying the message, along with having smart football players that want to do it right. And so we've seen a lot of good execution, like you said, good substitutions, low penalties. Like, those are all things that you have to do, that you can control to win football games throughout the season, and it's something that Josh emphasizes every single day in team meetings.
Let's watch this 4th down now after the penalty, which they have not been penalized a lot tonight, but let's watch this 4th and 12 together here.
They're playing the zone, straight zone.
Garber's towards the end zone, and he cannot find Cam Sims. Dave, we we appreciate all you've done for us here in the preseason and your time here in the fourth. We'll see you back in Las Vegas.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me. Go Raiders.
Ziegler in his second year as GM. A lot to like in this preseason. Tonight, defense has struggled a little bit. 2:54 to go. Now, Art Powell, an unbelievable 10-year career with the silver and black. One of the 3 finalists for the Hall of Fame Senior Committee that will be up for debate coming up around Super Bowl week. And you look at the numbers, and we've shown them throughout the course of the night. I mean, he is up there with the greats of this game and all of what he did, certainly before the rules changed, allowing receivers to have more of an action and impact in the NFL, and he did that with the Raiders in the 60s and 70s.
He did that in the 60s when they could still clothesline you, when they could just jam you right in the face. It was a completely different game.
And remember, Mark Davis, one of those who pushed for those who were enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame posthumously to have the families receive rings of excellence, which started last year. So if he is selected by the senior committee, that would go to Art Powell's family as well. Hunter Lipke's been making a push tonight to try and make the Cowboys final 53. And certainly the Raiders have some decisions to make as well on the offensive side. Will Christian Wilkerson make the roster? How about Cam Sims and his acrobatics? We'll find out on Tuesday. 31-16, 2-minute warning. Cowboys leading the Raiders here tonight. Dallas has gained 427 yards against Josh McDaniels and the Raiders, whose offense tonight has worked as well. At one point had 4 consecutive scoring drives led by Aiden O'Connell. Just one time punching it in the end zone. So that's been different tonight than the rest of the preseason. But didn't see it, any of the starters really. Couple rookies, Michael Mayer, Tyree Wilson, Byron Young, we did see early in this ball game. Well, career we've seen a lot of, and a few times to Tyron Johnson on the exact same route.
Yeah, that corner route, that 7 route has really hurt them.
Well, I think Will Greer's really hurt them. The fact they haven't been able to get any kind of pressure. Will Grier is just rubbing his beard in their face.
He's laughing. He's making it look easy. We talked about, I don't care, like I said, where you are in the depth chart at that position. If you give these quarterbacks time in the pocket, they'll pick you apart.
Oh, yeah. He's been impressive tonight.
Well, and Tyron Johnson showing tonight for the Cowboys what the Raiders and Josh McDaniels knew all last year in training camp, and that guy's got speed. He's shown that tonight. So Greer, 29 of 35, 305 yards passing. 56 yards on the ground, got out of every sack that the Raiders had or thought they had. A couple of rushing touchdowns as well. So that's his night. We'll see where he winds up as they traded for Trey Lance. As they're going to run off the clock here, Rich, we'll start with you. Your thoughts here as we head to the end of the preseason and get ready for Denver week 1.
I think the coaching staff is pleased with what they've seen from this Raider football team. Jason, I think offensively, I think they've looked sharp. You're encouraged with the young quarterback, some of these receivers. I think the offensive line is going to be better. I think defensively, Matt, I would defer to you. I'm encouraged by the depth and talent that they have at 2 key positions, defensive line and in the secondary.
100% agree with you. I think it's an improved offensive. First of all, this is a better football team now than it was last year. I think where it shows up, I think this offensive line is better. I think they're more in unison. I think defensively the secondary is really good, and I think they're a little light at the second level in their backers. But this is a game of speed anymore, so they'll be challenged a little bit like they were here tonight. But I think they can score some points.
That'll be the test as they get ready to take on Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, and the Broncos to start the regular season. Josh McDaniels, Mike McCarthy will put their preseasons behind him, and now the eye to figuring out what 53 players are going to be on this roster come Tuesday afternoon. And get ready for the 2023 regular season campaign and improve on last year's 6-11 mark. We'll wrap it all up coming up on the other side.